Well, on the phone with us right now, we have Josh Gates from Sci-Fi's Destination Truth. So, first off, I got to say, I'm not just one of those cheesy DJs that like, kissing celebrities' butts, but I am a true fan of Destination Truth.
Well, that's nice to hear. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I love the show. I follow you on Twitter all the time, and so glad to be talking to you here. And I got to say, you must have the greatest job in the world, don't you?
It's tough to complain. I get sent all over the world to some really cool locations looking into these really neat stories. So, yeah, for me, it's been a dream come true.
Yeah, so you're going around hunting monsters around here. It's like every teenage boy's dream.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no, we kind of get to go and do that Hardy Boys thing. We go to these places. It's a really small crew. There's only 8 of us out there making the show. And we really put ourselves into harm's way. We really want to go out at night and get into these environments and see if some of these really fascinating creature stories or paranormal accounts can be verified or if they can be debunked.
So which one do you prefer? Do you like going after the creature stories or do you like the paranormal ghost stories more?
They're very different. In some ways, the paranormal stories are a little bit easier in the sense that it's very much trying to go to a place and just sort of wait and see if, people say they see or they hear strange things. You go to a place and you very much are just kind of sort of seeing what happens. With the creature stories, you're really trying to track something that's biological. And there's also sometimes more risk in those stories because you're dealing with areas where there sometimes are actually known big, dangerous animals out and about.
Yeah, you don't want to stumble into some lion's den or something and really get hurt. You got to be careful out there.
Yeah, and actually this season we're doing a number of episodes in East Africa. You'll be seeing some cool stuff in Tanzania and Kenya and Madagascar. Some of these places have some of the most dangerous animals on Earth. So there's some great creature encounters this season with known animals.
Yeah, I really enjoy that, and I enjoy the ghost one. One of my favorite episodes had to be the Ghost of Chernobyl, where you guys are over there. And how was that shooting on location there?
It was amazing. Actually, strange that you should say that. That exact episode is on it's actually on TV right now on DirecTV. I'm not sure if it's on cable, but they're doing a marathon today of the show.
Yeah, I've been fighting with my TiVo last night because I want to set up a season pass for the new season. It says Thursday night. I'm like, no, not Thursday. I'm on Wednesday. It's out on Wednesday. And I realized you got a new night and time. So it's tonight, yep. Sci-Fi, 9 o'clock. And, I got it marathon recording at home. So my weekend's pretty much shot.
Oh, there we go. Chernobyl was terrifying, and that's a place that we actually pitched internally as a joke. We said, what if we went and did a night at Chernobyl? And then we were like, well, wait a minute, could you do that? Is it actually possible? And so we looked into it and figured out we could do it relatively safely. And, it was a pretty tense night, for everybody on the show. It was not only a really scary place to visit, it's very well preserved. There's newspapers on people's desks, and there's furniture in the apartments, and it's just completely an abandoned place that feels like it could have been lived in 10 minutes ago. It's also, though, a dangerous place.
Yeah, and how were you able to get clearance through that? Because it seemed like they wouldn't just let anybody come stumbling in there to investigate.
Well, that's one of the things I think over the last couple of seasons making the show that's really been an education for me, is that we've done a number of episodes now in places where I kind of can't believe we got access. Along with Chernobyl, places like King Tut's tomb last season. This season, we're spending the night at the Temple of Angkor Wat in Cambodia, which is the largest religious building in the world, this really venerated temple. Tonight in the season premiere, we're in Pompeii. Kind of got the run of the place tonight, which is amazing. And you know what? A lot of it really comes down to asking. We're not paying insane amounts of money to spend the night in these places. People don't often film in these locations at night, and it's a unique ask that we make of the people that run these places. And we've just met with a lot of really nice, hospitable people that have been happy to help, set these locations up for us. So, now I'll ask for anything. I mean, any location that we think, maybe we won't get that. After being able to get into some of the places that we've gone to, I'll ask anybody.
Yeah, so the worst thing they could say is no, right? You won't know until you finally ask.
That's exactly right.
We have Josh Gates from Sci-Fi's Destination Truth on with us. New season premieres tonight. Brand new night, 9 o'clock on Sci-Fi, right, Josh?
That's right. We're on at 9, 8 Central. We used to be on Wednesday nights, and we're out in the unknown now on Thursdays, which is actually a real compliment, to us from the channel that we're anchoring our own night now. But, it's a big move, and we're really hopeful that the fans will follow us over there.
Yeah, whose fault is it? The Ghost Hunters' fault? You're getting too popular for them. They had to kick you out and do a different night?
Yeah, well, no, Ghost Hunters really kind of we owe a lot of our success to Ghost Hunters, not just because the format is similar in some cases, but because they really were our lead-in for the first 3 years that the show was on, and a lot of our viewers are their viewers. So we owe them an immense debt of gratitude, and that we're now kind of being graduated over to our own night is I think a real compliment to our show and to the popularity that it's had. So we're excited about it.
Yeah, that's great. And, we're talking about going into some of these places. How is it when you got to go through customs in these other countries and you're hauling all this video and audio equipment and you got to explain to them you're there to hunt down ghosts and monsters? Do you get any weird reactions from these custom officials?
Well, here's a funny little story. This last season, we did 3 months overseas for the episodes that are premiering tonight. So we went to, I don't know how many flights that was, probably 35 flights maybe, and going country after country after country through customs. We didn't have a single problem at any customs checkpoint until I landed in JFK in New York at the very end of the trip. We landed in New York, and then I got the full rubber glove treatment from the U.S. customs officials. So, which is a good thing. We're not your average group of travelers, and so we do have a bit of a suspicious travel profile, I guess. So, but yeah, my only trouble this season came from the U.S. customs.
So, which is the worst airport besides JFK that you've had to deal with? Anyone overseas?
Oh, JFK is a dream compared to some airports. I've got a running list of world's absolute worst airports. I think there's a new terminal, so I don't want to send them down the gutter without having seen it. But the airport in New Delhi, India, was always a real favorite of mine. That's a pretty terrible airport. Some of the African airports are awful, just infrastructure-wise. Some of the big city African, you go to big cities in Africa, they just have so much work to do in the infrastructure of their airports. Some pretty bad airports there. In the U.S., I'd probably go Newark. I really hate Newark Airport.
All right, yeah. Well, it's in Jersey. What are you going to do, right?
Yeah.
So Sci-Fi's Destination Truth, Josh Gates on with us, new night tonight at 9 o'clock. I got a show pitch for you. How about on the next season, you guys go and try to rescue the Chilean miners?
I was just talking about this the other day with my dad. My father was a deep-sea diver his whole career, so he's like, Mr. Drill. He knows all about that stuff. It's insane the amount of time that they're estimating that it's going to take to get those guys out of there.
Yeah, they're saying Christmas.
It's crazy. And it really has to do, part of it is getting the right equipment down there is not easy, but it certainly seems like there are better ways of getting those guys out. There are better drills that could get those guys out of there. It's a shame that it's going to take as long as it is, but at least it's in the news and people are really kind of keyed into their story, and hopefully the support just continues for those guys. It's a terrible story.
Yeah, definitely. So, of course, tonight's the season for Season 3, am I correct?
Season 4.
Season 4, wow. I got to get caught up on this. That's why I got the marathon recording right now. So you got the same team back as last year, or is there any new faces we're going to see tonight?
No, we always have a few new faces. Several team members are eaten each season by tigers, and so we, like any expedition, every season calls for a kind of new group of individuals. We've got a new paramedic this season who's great, a guy right out of the armed forces who's terrific. We have a new field producer out there and a new shooter as well. So there's some new faces on the show and a bunch of faces that are returning as well.
All right, sounds good. We look forward to seeing it tonight. Josh Gates from Sci-Fi's Destination Truth tonight, 9 o'clock. Sci-Fi. Josh, thanks for taking some time talking with us today.
Always happy to do so. Thanks very much.